Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to the 31st Lap. I'm Chris Marquardt. Joining me in studio, the long been missed, if you can believe that. There he is, right there.
Who's that?
Good look at him. Oh, hey. John Baum is joining me in studio. Mike is not able to make it tonight. He had some stuff come up at home, so he's not going to be able to be with us this evening. But hopefully he'll be able to join us here again via the Skype hotline next week. Good show on deck tonight.
Yeah, what is this? Well, hold on.
What?
What is this?
What do you want?
This business I keep hearing that he tried to explain this crap to me.
What?
This striper. What do you call it?
Well, when you make
it
that
called?
giant step into the 2000s, you're going to hear about this thing called Skype.
Skype, whatever the hell it is. He tells me now that he does the show without coming here.
Yeah.
Well,
nobody else was.
What the hell is that? Jesus.
I do appreciate then the fact that you have sufficiently stayed away for 3 months without doing anything with the show whatsoever.
I've been extremely busy.
Now, remember, everybody, that John was the guy that behind the scenes was chastising me day and night for not being a very good communicator. That when I sent group messages about what was on deck on the show coming up, the topics
most
coming
of the
up
time
on the
I answered
particular
you and
weeks,
said I won't be there.
John didn't say anything. Once John got a seasonal job at Toys R Us again, we didn't exist.
Yeah, the Toys R Us thing really
didn't exist.
It really did me in.
He couldn't even acknowledge the fact that we were still on the show. John, hey, what'd you think of the show last week? We had 3 USAC guys on. I don't know. I didn't.
Honestly, I haven't heard a show, and I couldn't even tell you what.
Right. Well,
probably the last time I did it.
Welcome back.
It's been a while. I don't think I've been here since the racing season ended.
We saw a better rating spike while you were gone than when we were without Mike. Now that Mike's back on Skype, it is gone.
That's not very good. So what you're telling me is today I'm bringing the shit right down, aren't I?
Well, and now you are officially back. Now that we've got a good curse out of you.
Jesus.
A few minutes we're going to be catching up with Matt Williamson, and then after that we're going to be talking to Dan Douville from the SCONE Sprints from up in New England. Looking forward to that conversation. And Matt, I mean, he's had to put together a pretty good resume as we look towards maybe him joining the ranks at Utica Rome.
Oh yeah, on Sundays.
Maybe we'll have to talk with him. We're going to talk with him a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got to find out what his plans are as far as if he's following the series or not. I mean, there's a lot of rumors of who's following.
You're going to be shaking him down to come to. You're going to be shaking him down to come to Fonda.
Well, he's got a Saturday track. He's in Maryville, doesn't he? Run Maryville on Saturdays? I think he's got a Saturday track. So, as much as we would love to have him at Fonda, I don't see him making that trek. That's a hell of a haul for those guys. Being up in the Ransomville, Maryville neck of the woods to come to Fonda on Saturdays would be. I'm sure that would get old fast.
It's a haul.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be covering some ground to make that happen.
It'd be a nice addition, though.
It'd be great.
Matty D would love to have him. I guarantee that.
I think I made a mistake. I was typing faster than I was thinking, and I think I put in Lernerville Track Championship.
Yes, he was. Well, he wasn't last year. He did.
It was a couple years
He did
back.
The year before, yes.
and then he's been at Merrittville.
He did run Lernerville last year, but he didn't win the title because
so it was the year before.
He had some engine problems last year.
I got all mixed up as soon as you said Merrittville. It got in the back of my head. I'm like, what?
Yeah, because Friday is Lernerville, and then Merrittville is Saturday.
Threw me off.
So he doesn't run Ransomville.
No.
Since he switched to running the big block at Lernerville. So
good success out there, though. It's a fun track.
Yeah, he's done very well out there.
You've been there.
A couple of years he's been there. No, I have not.
That's the place you haven't been to?
That is one track I have not.
What the hell?
I've yet to go to. I'd love to see the series go back there one day. That'd be nice.
I was down there for a series one time, and we stood around in the rain for several hours before we got to come home.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
It was a good time.
I can relate. I've been there and done that many a time in my life. As most race fans, I'm sure, have endured that a handful of times throughout there.
I guess Mike's trying to listen at home in between some of the stuff he's got going on, so we'll cheer him up right off the bat by bringing up NASCAR news. Jeff Gordon saying,
"Yeah, how about that? What a that was a way to start the morning today to see that all over the
all done,
all over the internet,
all done full time."
Jeff Gordon announced his retirement today. That at the end of the 2015 Cup season, he will no longer be a full-time driver.
Which Mark Martin had a remarkable resurgence. When he opted,
he retired about 8 times, and now he's never really actually retired. He just kind of vanished.
Yeah,
I don't think he's still retired. I just don't think he gets.
They finally said, "No more retirement cakes for you, Mark. Go away."
Yep.
But yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Well, her and I were just talking about it on the way here.
Her and I would be John's wife.
Yes,
her,
the missus is sitting over on the sofa there.
who's way too uptight
off on the side. She's
about the finances.
She was crabby when we walked in the door.
She won't let John go to Thunder Mountain Speedway in the middle of Pennsylvania for $100.
It wasn't Thunder Mountain. What'd you say it was?
It's Thunder Mountain Speedway in Brookville, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
We've talked about this track before on the show that you didn't listen to.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't hear it. But anyway, her and I were talking about it on the way here. It's kind of a perfect timing, I think. And I'm not saying this had anything to do with Jeff's decision, but I'm sure it helped with the discussions. Hendrick, as we all know, he has Chase Elliott laying in the wings.
Oh yeah,
and he's he announced at the end of the season last year that he wanted him to run one more season in the Xfinity Series or whatever they call it, formerly Nationwide, formerly Busch, whatever. So he will, he'll be running that in 2015, but come 2016, he's going to be ready and they'll be moving him into Cup. Well, now this kind of works out perfect. He can throw him, if they wanted to, throw him right into the 24 and not have to add another team. Right. I mean, Hendrick's already got 5 teams as it is. Because that's, the last couple of years I've been thinking, geez, if they got Chase Elliott and it looks like he's showing some success, he's not going to let him go anywhere. Where are you going to put him? Are you going to add a 6th team? I mean,
can't.
They got limits with car owners now. They can only have so many, but that's why you see all these car owners have different people listed as owners nowadays because
Jeff Gordon's half owner on Jimmy Johnson's
team. Yeah,
been that way since the 48 team started.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised to see, as the season progresses, or even in the off season next year, that maybe Rick and Jeff may make some announcements where Jeff gets more involved with part ownership or something. You know what I mean? He's always going to have ties there. He's always going to be involved.
Well, what
kind of extent
he still had the DuPont sponsorship back when I mean, didn't he sign a lifetime contract or something like that? Where he pretty much is years and years ago. This is back in the mid '90s.
Yeah,
where he signed a deal where he was going to be either with DuPont or with Hendrick or both for as long as he wanted to drive a car.
Yep. And the same thing, you bring that up. That was the same thing that Rusty went through when Rusty Wallace retired. He signed a lifetime contract with Miller Brewing. He's got a lifetime contract with them, and that's why even still to this day, I think every once in a while he does he'll go and speak or do promotional stuff for the brand, for Miller Brewing and things like that, because they did the same thing because he was with them for so long.
A lot of public speaking, high school stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it entails, but he did sign a lifetime contract.
Go to college.
Like what you're saying,
brought to you by Miller Lite
with Gordon. Yeah, imagine that. I would have loved that. That would have been awesome.
I mean, look at what Mark Martin was able to do after he retired the first time.
Which time? I remember when he did that whole season, that whole year-long retirement tour thing. At the end of the year, they gave him a rocking chair and stuff. He never did use that darn thing.
Well, then he turned around, he retired, and then he ended up in the 5 car off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up in the 01 car, and he almost won the Daytona 500.
Yes, he almost won Daytona in the 01 Army car. Yes.
And then he bounced around a little bit more and made select starts. I think he even made a start for Michael Waltrip Racing.
Yes. Yep.
A couple of starts in one of the Aaron's 55 cars.
Yep. Yeah, that was during when Vickers had his first health problem there, maybe? Did he fill in? Was he one of the fill-in? I forget. He's been in and out of so many cars.
That fill-in was a revolving door. That was
and he's going, he's going through that again. I saw an article, I spotted it, I don't know, yesterday or today about Vickers. He's now back on the menu. He had to have surgery again in the off-season. And he's been cleared to drive, but he won't be back until March. So he's going to miss the first part of the year. So you're going to be seeing somebody else in the 55 to start the year probably now too.
Pretty excited about the prospects for Kyle Larson this year.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that kid wins a race this year. Yeah. Wins a cup race.
He was kicking down the door, just never really broke through.
Yeah, I mean, finished second three times last year. I think he was
a lot of fun.
At one point in the middle of the summer, there was a span of
he was a lot of fun.
A couple of months, he scored more points than anybody.
Yeah, it's true.
And
and he did it on a diverse array of tracks.
Somebody had figured it out, with the old system, and if they didn't do this silly chase thing, he would have finished. I forget where it was in points, 11th or maybe I forget what it was, maybe it was 8th, something like that. But as it turned out, I mean, obviously he didn't get in the chase, so he's automatically the highest 17th. So that's where he ended up with 17th. But
I mean, he started with some
he
momentum.
certainly wasn't seventh. That wasn't a 17th place team and driver. That's for sure.
Well, he looked good in the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, until Saturday night.
Moments. I mean,
the A main came in.
Is it fair to say that he looked good, or was it fair to say that he looked good, or did he have moments of brilliance leading up to the main? What do you call it?
The A main came in. He was. It didn't go well. He was running in the top 5 and spun out all by himself. And then a little while later, after he got into the tail, spun out again. He spun out 2 times by himself. So,
I love the flip count. The flip count. If you follow the Twitter feed for the Chili Bowl,
broke the record.
Yeah. What did it end up finishing at?
61, I believe it was. Record was 59. And that's flips throughout the week from starting with Tuesday's first race night right through Saturday's A main.
Yeah.
For the entire 5 nights, there was 61 flips. So that doesn't count the 10 flips that happened on Monday in practice. Because Monday is an all-day practice.
Right.
So unofficially, the official flip count was 61. Unofficially, there were 71 flips throughout the entire week.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, so if you, if you're one of those people who was big into watching crashes at racetrack, you want to go see some flips, go there. You'll see plenty.
Did you see?
You see more there than you see the rest of the year combined.
They give these awards out at the Chili Bowl that Sammy Swindell was named the Tom Schmay Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Contributor to racing.
Yeah, I saw that.
And in the 360 poll, Steve Poirier was 10th.
Oh, the driver of the year?
Among 360s.
Yeah. 360 driver of the year was Jason Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I think.
I don't
Which
think
is
there was any
nothing
debate.
New. Yeah. Won't happen next year, though.
Didn't Dave Darland win the wingless sprint award?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he broke the record for all-time USAC sprint races or USAC National Sprint Car Series wins this past summer. He became the all-time winningest driver, passing Tom Bigelow. He had a great season. He was right in the point hunt right down to the last night for the USAC National Sprint title. Ended up going to Brady Bacon, but he was in the hunt right down.
And you're not even wearing a Brady Bacon shirt.
I'm not right now.
What the heck?
I have them, but
I know you do.
I am not wearing them one at the moment. No,
I'm a little disappointed. I really expected.
Well, that was in November.
Well, that was the last time I saw you.
I know. It was more like October, I think, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't remember. I was trying to think of when the last show I did was. Have I been here since Super Dirt Week?
No.
I'm not sure.
No, to make it short for you, no.
No, it couldn't have been because I was busy right through every weekend. I mean, we went to Brockville the next weekend.
No, the last time I talked to you was when you made a cameo at Weedsport.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a brief 2-second blip on the screen while I was working. I believe we got somebody on the line now.
Yeah, that's Matt Williamson. Matt's joining us on the Dirt Track Digest hotline. Matt, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You bet, dude. Appreciate you coming on. How's your off season been? I understand that you've been weighing a couple options. Mike tells me.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we're certainly we're excited for 2015. We're excited to get started in Florida and I should say Georgia this year.
Yeah, how exciting is that?
It's pretty awesome. Another state. Right now, if our schedule, if we hit up every race that we plan on going to, we're going to be racing in Georgia, Florida, West Virginia, Charlotte, and New York State, and Pennsylvania. So, I mean, plus Quebec and Ontario. I mean, it's a lot of places you get to go to and a lot of states and provinces you get to see and a lot of great people. So I'm excited for it.
West Virginia, does that mean you're hitting the BRP Tour race at Tyler County?
I think we're planning on it right now. I mean, with it's tough. It's tough to hit all the good races you want to hit on the BRP Tour and all the big block series race tours shows you want to hit. And of course, Brett's got some good shows that conflict with dates on both of those other series. So
yep.
Right now we're talking about just doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and hitting the good shows that we want to hit. Go to tracks that we've never been to before, and not really committing to any series, but just going to the races that we can hit.
Well, that answers one of my questions.
Yep.
So much for that.
John was dying to find out if we could crack the nut and find out if you were going to follow the whole Super Dirt Series schedule this year or not. But being non-committal, does that allow you to chase races that you think, when you look at the schedule, tend more to your favor? I mean, tracks that you've got more experience at, or just places that you more want to go? I mean, how did you determine what your schedule is going to look like?
I mean, there's a lot of good races this year that on the Super Dirt Series that have not had series race before.
Right.
Gosh, Guigan's on there, and I mean that's an hour and a half away from our house. I mean, it's certainly one of the races that we want to hit up. And with racing at Lernerville on Friday nights, that Tyler County race, that's 2 hours away from Lernerville, or I could go to Rolling Wheels that same night. Right. With a dirt series race, and it's another 6 hours away from Lernerville. So
sure,
you got to certainly weigh your options. About a month ago, if you would have asked me, we would have been saying we were going to all the big block series races. But the only problem with that is the first race at Fulton is Merrittville's opener, and I can't get show-up points to go to Merrittville if I went to Fulton. So that was really the deciding factor on that.
Right. Well, I mean, that makes sense. So how about we've established Friday night at Lernerville. Yep. We've established Saturday night at Merrittville.
Yep.
And Sunday night's going to be where?
We're planning right now at Utica Rome. With them switching to Windows and Hoosier tires, it's 3 hours away from my house, which is not a big deal for us. I mean, we're used to 4.5 hours, 4 hours on Friday. So, I mean, it's not like it's a major traveling thing, and I think they pay pretty good money there. And obviously, the competition's good with Stewie, Matt, and Jimmy, and all the guys that race there on a weekly basis. It's certainly a place that you can go to, and if you do win, you kind of a feather in the cap, you could say. So,
right.
That's the plan right now.
How far have you come as a driver? I mean, when you look at the last several years, I mean, we've talked to you over the last 4 or 5 years that we've had this show on, and you've moved up through the ranks, and now you look at the mantle, you see a track championship from Lernerville, and you're looking at running in 4 or 5 different states this year. I mean, how far have you come as a driver in the modified ranks?
I think I've certainly learned a lot.
I'd agree with that.
Learn more mechanics of the car. If you would ask me 4 years ago to rebuild my own shocks and stuff like that, I would have had no clue how to do it. But I've been fortunate to surround myself with good people that have taught me a lot of things, whether it comes to tire preparation or shocks. There's not really anything on these race cars that I can't do now.
Right.
I think that's helped me as a driver. The on-track stuff, that kind of just comes with racing, and the more races you hit and the more laps you do, you kind of get more experience. You lose a race some way, you're gonna certainly reflect on that the next time you're racing and you're in that same position. So I think that kind of comes by itself, but it's certainly the stuff that I've done off the racetrack has helped me a lot more than what I've done on the racetrack.
How far did you say Utica was from your house?
3 hours.
3 hours.
Well, 3.5 hours if you follow the speed limit. So it's about 3 hours for us.
Interesting take. So
if my dad's driving, it's about 2.
So.
We won't describe what the vehicle looks like.
I don't need to know any more about that.
Need any
So, what are the logistics? How many cars and trailers does it take to put together just a regular weekend for you when you're looking at running Friday in Pennsylvania, and then you're coming back up home back into Canada to run a race up there, and then you're leaving Canada again to come back into Utica on Sunday.
No, we got 2 cars. We've got our small block car for Saturday nights, I should say, and then we have 1 big block car. We have 2 big block motors, 2 small block motors. So
I guess that's probably the more fair question is how many power plants do you have stationed in different parts of the?
Yeah. We have actually we've got 3 big block motors. The one Dad's trying to sell right now, but it was the motor we ran in Charlotte, and then we have 2 new Finger Lakes motors coming. They're not done yet, but I hope to have one of them in for Florida. But that'll certainly, that's a lot further than we were with our big block program last year.
Right.
We started off racing at Lernerville, and we were planning on doing it weekly. Of course, when you win a championship, you always want to go back and try and defend it. But the first 3 weeks we went there, we blew a motor up every time. So
Yikes.
That kind of put a big damper in our big block program last year and made us focus on Merrittville on Saturday nights. But it's not too bad. We'll usually leave here on a Friday around noon. Get to Lernerville probably 5 o'clock. We stop for lunch, and we don't rush getting there. We leave there. Usually the program's done by 9:30, which is fortunate.
That's not so bad.
And then the good thing about Utica is it's kind of similar. The program gets over early enough that you can get home at a certain not 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So we'll get home from Lernerville probably around 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and get up the next day. The small block car is usually done, so all I would have to do there is unload the big block and load the small block up, and, load the tires up for Merrittville, and load the trailer up, change the fuel, whatever, and then we'll start working. This year it's going to be new because we haven't raced on Sundays before, but
Right.
we'll get the Utica car done Saturday afternoon before we go to the racetrack, and then head to Merrittville and do the same thing again on Sunday. We'll just we'll come home Saturday night and change out the cars and get ready for Utica, and probably leave around 1 o'clock in the afternoon and be there on time.
Thought maybe they just found a thick grove of trees or something behind one of the exits on 81, and they just stashed the car there. That we don't have to drag it back and forth over the border.
That would be a good idea, something to think about.
That would work well if you didn't have to work on it during the week.
It's fine.
Repair anything.
Right. He's gonna have a good.
It might be an issue if you got to repair things.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to do much of that. But the weekly maintenance on these things it's insane how much work actually goes into this. In
I can only imagine.
Week,
So I mean, I just heard what you said, and I heard what you said a minute ago about it being new because you're running Utica Rome. Why add the third night?
Why not?
I don't. I was working at Bicknell Racing Products, for my dad, up until just after Syracuse, and I figured, I got the money saved up, and I wanted to try and make it in racing as a driver, not as a worker. I got stuff to fall back on, but this year I kind of want to do it and do it full time. Spend as much time as I can in the shop and spend as much time as I can racing. So we're going to do 3 nights, and then as many tour shows as we can hit up. Pending budget and cars and motors, and as long as everything goes okay. So we'll just want to try it this year, see where we can go.
What's been the biggest surprise so far in making that transition?
It's certainly nice, because I got the small block car. I'm just out in the shop right now. I was swiping tires before I got a phone call, but I got the small block car ready to go, and the big block car is pretty much done, just waiting on a motor. So it's nice to be ahead of the game, not stressing, not worried about getting the cars done week before racing starts, and I don't know, just a lot of time to work on your own stuff. Focus on shocks and spend a lot of time on the shock dyno researching some stuff, and I think it's going to help my program.
I mean, that time has such value, and to be able to put the full-time effort into that, I mean, what gains have you already been able to see? I mean, you just referenced the shock dyno and some of the advantages that you've had so far along those lines, just in what you've been able to R&D. You've already got your small block car done. Have you already seen an increase in productivity and an advantage to having that full-time effort?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said with the shock dyno, that's stuff that wins your races right there. Shocks have become even since I started racing sportsmen, we were on pros back in the day, and they've come a long ways. Shocks is I would say 90% of what goes into a race car right now. There's so many options between digressive, linear, base valves, check valves. It's insane what you can do to a shock nowadays. And like I said earlier, I've been fortunate to surround myself with good people, whether it's my dad or Pat McCulley at Fox. I mean, them guys have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to shocks and race car setup and all this other stuff that when you get time in the shop, you can float around ideas. And whether I want to call Pat and bounce an idea off of him or call my dad and say, here's what I'm thinking about. It certainly helps you. You can write it down in a notebook, and then when you go to the racetrack, you can say, hey, back in January, I was thinking about this. Let's try it. So I think it certainly helps you, having the time to work on race cars and shocks and do stuff that you've always wanted to do that say you didn't have the time middle of the season to do, and now you finally do. So it's I think it's good. I think it's going to help.
That's something that we've heard a lot about, in the last probably year and a half, more and more conversation about the shocks and how important it is, because the engines now are generating more power than ever, and all that power means nothing if you can't find a way to hook it up.
Yeah,
and that's been a recurring theme in a lot of conversations we've had across all walks of motorsport.
Yeah,
I mean it isn't limited just to the modified.
It's amazing how shocks have become so important in motorsports these days. Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, it's not like back in the 60s and 70s when you would have to build your own stuff. I mean, everybody can go out now and buy the best motor out there, and everybody's, with a small block, everybody's floating around 600 horsepower.
Yeah.
Big block, everyone's around 875. So, between tires and shocks, those are two things that you can work more at and get that advantage. And, it's really, I would look at 358 racing like crate racing, because everybody has the same amount of power, and what's going to win you races isn't going to be a motor anymore. It's your setup and your tires and your race car and how you drive now. So it's you don't have that advantage like you could have back in the 70s and 60s with a motor when you come out with something different than what somebody else has come out with. So it's certainly a big part of the game.
How do you feel? Go ahead.
Matt, you had mentioned, obviously this year you want to tackle your first season of becoming what you would consider a full-time driver. What pushed you to make that decision or that jump? I mean, you're going to, like we talked about, you're going to 3 nights a week with weekly tracks. You're going to hit a lot of midweek shows, bouncing around to different series. So you obviously have on your agenda to do a lot of racing. What pushed that? Was that something that you just wanted to do mentally, or did it have a mixture of, obviously to do all those races is going to cost a pretty good sized budget, and you had mentioned having the budget to do things, whether you get through the season depending on your budget. Do you have something new in the budget that helped propel you to make that decision, or is it just something that you finally made up your mind and said, you know what, I've always wanted to do it, I'm just going to do it regardless?
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed from last year. We still got the same great sponsors we had last year, and we've had a couple new people come on board, but nothing financially has changed that's going to make me want to do this.
Wow.
It's just I'm at a point. I'm 25 years old, and I've got, like I said many a times, I've got great people behind me to the point where I can have a big block car and a small block car, and we have the resources to do so. We've got a trailer full of spare parts, and that allows us to go out on the road. So we've just got all the things in place to do it, and as long as we don't have motor problems, I should touch wood. So
right.
If we don't have motor problems and we don't wreck any cars early in the year, I think that we're in a good spot to try and go compete for some championships this year.
That's good. I hope that you have success in doing that, because let's face it, today's day and age, the full-time driver side of things have really, they've dropped by the wayside because it's so hard and expensive to do. So I hope it works out, because we need more full-time drivers. I think there's not enough of them.
I certainly know that I'm not going to make any money racing, and I'll be lucky to go to all these races. But you just got to keep yourself busy through the week when you can, and try and make a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there, and I'm fortunate that I still live at home. I mean, it's not a good thing at 25, but
No,
Yeah,
Matt,
but you know
that's
what? If
hang on,
if
Matt,
mom
that's a
and dad
great
are
thing.
okay with you helping to go live your dream, then what the hell, man? Do it.
Yeah, no,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's
I
not a bad thing.
I looked at buying a house last year, and I figured if I'm going to go racing, I better do it this year because next year I might have a house to work on.
Right, that's just it. You want to do it when you're 35, it'll be too late.
Yeah. There's a lot of advantages to living at home, and there's no shame in that either, man.
Drag it out as long as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So.
As long as they still want you there.
That's right.
Yeah. Until I get kicked out, I got to keep doing
That's
it.
right. When you see your stuff at the front door, you'll know it's time to go.
Right.
Yeah, when it's time, you'll know.
The good thing is the garage is right next to the house, so I got Mom doesn't see me inside very often.
There you
She doesn't get too upset, that I'm still living at home because I'm really only there at 11 o'clock at night till 8 in the morning, and then I go back out to the garage. So it's
now
life, I'm trying to live the dream.
here's a major question about this whole living at home thing.
Oh no!
Now, if you're in the garage until 11 o'clock at night, who's washing those clothes?
My mom still does my laundry.
No!
Great lady, and as long as I don't complain about it, it's
Perfect.
That's right. Yeah, if you start telling her all the things that she's doing wrong.
Make your lunches as long as you don't complain about them. So.
Yeah, if you start telling her all the things she's doing wrong with your laundry, then you're in trouble.
Right. It only takes one time to do that, and then I'll be doing my own laundry. So I've learned pretty quick how to get away from that deal.
Is there I don't know what the tradition is in Canada, but in the United States, it's a brown paper lunch bag. Is that still waiting by the back door when you go out the back door, down the steps into the garage?
No, I can.
No.
I still go inside for lunch. By the time lunch comes around, they're gone to work. So go inside and play with the dog or whatever, and watch some TV, and then go back out in the garage. So
That's
it's
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Matt, keep this between us. Don't mess this up.
Yeah, don't screw it up.
Right. That's for sure.
Right now we're jealous.
But I mean, really, that's the kind of support you need, though. If you're gonna go chase,
Yeah, if you're gonna make it work.
if you're gonna chase this dream, I mean, that's the kind of support you need.
Yeah.
You alluded to the fact that you put your time in at Bicknell, you saved up the money, you had the finances and the resources now to where you can go attack this thing and you can make a run at it. And if this breaks for you, this could completely break for you and the whole racing program that you've put all this time and effort into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you try and build it up to be at this level, and I'm not saying that we're there yet. Certainly we're not at the level that Matt and Stewie and them guys that actually do it professionally. I shouldn't say that I'm a professional race car driver because until I've made some money doing it, I'm not really professional. I might be full time, but we got to. I'm still young, like I said. I got to try it at some point in my life, and Dad and Mom they told me not to. They said I'd never make it. Racing, but I figured I'd give it this year and give it a shot, and then if not, then we'll see from there. I'll be looking for a job after that.
Well, you know what? If the time is right to go do it, like you say, you're young enough. You don't have anything tying you down to keep you from doing it. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work, you said you got something to fall back onto, then now's the time to do it. Now's the time to try.
Exactly.
No, but
You don't know until you try.
you
Yeah,
brought up,
so got to try it this year. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know come November how we made out. So.
Now, when somebody like your dad, with all the race cars that he's worked on, with all the experience he's got with Bicknell Racing Products, tells you, don't do this, what kind of fire does that light in you?
Certainly a lot. I mean, it makes you work on the cars more. One thing about trying to make a living doing this is that the more work you put into the cars, the better off you're going to be. It's almost like putting overtime in at work. You're gonna benefit from it, and it lights a fire a little bit, but you still got to be. I still got to listen to him. I mean, he is my dad, so when he says don't do something, it's hard to not do it.
Yeah.
But certainly it's easy when somebody tells you can't make it in racing. It's easy to go and put in 18-hour days every day in the shop, and spend a little bit of extra time on the shock dyno to try and make yourself better, so that you do make it. Like you said, light a fire. I guess,
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
How about those Finger Lakes machine power plants that you got coming? You excited about those?
Yeah, I mean, we decided to go to Doug this year. He's got a nice thing going. He builds reasonable power, and the main thing is he doesn't how can you say that? He doesn't charge you an arm and a leg for motors.
Yep.
Doesn't gouge.
He doesn't gouge prices. I think that he builds a very fair and reasonable motor, and his prices are about the same. And one of the main things is reliability, and I think that Doug builds one of the best reliable motors, and everybody that goes there seems to be happy. So we decided to go there, and we brought one of our older motors there, and he ended up fixing that one, and we got a new one coming. So it'll be exciting to see what happens, and we're hoping to have it done by Florida, but if not, then after that.
Who was the previous engine builder?
Chuck Cece used to build our big blocks, and I can't say anything bad about Chuck. I mean, he built great power, but the 5-hour drive out to Chuck's there and back, and we had some bad luck this year, so we just needed to change. We needed to change the atmosphere, and that's why we went to Doug.
It's understandable. It happens all the time in motorsports. I mean, whether it's engines, it's car, it's chassis, it's whatever. Sometimes you get stale, and you got to make a change, and
yeah, exactly.
That's racing.
Steve Payne found a lot of success with figure
I think we would have been better off if we didn't have the motor problems. I think we were going to try and make a stab at doing the whole big block tour last year.
Yep.
And it worked out good because that first race that was conflicting with Lernerville ended up raining out. So
yes, it did. The Fulton race rained out.
We went to New Egypt and Brockville and ran third at Brockville. We put ourselves in a good spot. We were guaranteed to go. Guaranteed to start every race because I think we were like 4th in points or 5th in points, and we stopped following it. So it was a shame that we had the motor issues that we did last year, and just got to hope that we can keep them together this year.
You bring up a good point and another question. Hypothetically, the Fulton race again for the Super Dirt Series is the first race on the schedule again, and like you said, it conflicts with Merrittville's opener. Let's just hypothetically say the same thing happens and it rains out. Do you change your schedule mind? Or are you going to stick to what you're planning on?
At that point, if the cards fall right, and if that race rains out and we go to the next race and say we run on the top 5 in the next race, then, like I've always said to Dad, if we put ourselves in a good spot to follow this tour, then we'll go from there and just kind of play it by ear. But that's why it's really tough to commit to a tour. Rather than a home track. It's easy to commit to a home track because it's you can guarantee yourself to start every night.
Yeah.
You don't go there. You don't drive 6 hours and not qualify. So with a tour, it's kind of hard when you don't have that guaranteed start.
Especially last year, and even going into this year with all the drivers that are expected to be there now following full time, it's going to get harder and harder to, like you said, just to even qualify. When you throw in all the tour guys that follow the series, then you throw in whatever track they're at, those regulars, it's going to get more and more difficult to qualify for those races now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's I think that it's probably the top series. Between that and Brett's series, it certainly puts a feather in your cap when you do run good at them races. And, that's part of the reason why you want to follow it too. I mean, when you race against the best, it makes you a better race car driver, and it certainly helps you when you come to Merrittville or you go to Lernerville or Utica Rome. It certainly helps you when you go to those places after you race on the tour. So
absolutely.
I guess we'll just have to see if it does rain that weekend, then we might change our plan.
Well, I hope it doesn't rain, but if circumstances fall like they did last year, we'd be glad to have you on the tour.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see it rain, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it rain that night.
I will say I was bummed last year when that race got rained out because I love Fulton, and and of course that would have been my first race working for the series last year, so I was kind of bummed that it rained out because I was, the whole anxiety of knowing weeks ahead of time that I was going to be doing the job that I did last year, and then all of a sudden you get all excited on race day and it rained out, and then I couldn't, I didn't have another race until like June in New Egypt, so then I had to wait another 2 months, and it's like, oh, come on.
Right. It kind of gives you in the waiting game again, right?
Yeah. So I'm hoping Fulton gets in this year, or at least they at least if they have problems with the weather because it is so early April, that they have a rain date in place where we can
chance to get it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's the next day or
if it's later in
whatever.
the year or whatever. Hopefully we can get it in one way or the other this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Matt, man, it's been a ball talking to you. Is there anybody before we let you go that you want to make mention of that helps keep the car on the track?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank my sponsors, obviously, S&W Service Center, Jason Enterprises, Fox Shocks, Bicknell Racing Products, Finger Lakes Machine. I mean, without all them guys, my dad, my parents for letting me still live at home. And without all those people, I couldn't do it, that's for sure.
Awesome.
And your dog. Don't forget your dog.
Yeah, hey, gotta thank the dog. Keep me company.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
Matt, man, it's been a ball. I'm glad you had some time, and we covered a lot of ground tonight. And we wish you absolutely the best luck coming up this year. You're taking off a big chunk. It sounds like you're ready for it, and we wish you the best.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks, guys, for having me.
You got
You
it,
bet,
man. I'll
man.
see
We'll
you in a
talk to you
couple
soon.
weeks down south.
All right, see you down there.
Travel safe.
Bye.
There goes Matt Williamson. Good conversation with Matt.
What happened?
I muted the wrong.
You
I muted the wrong
muted
microphone.
my mic.
I did. I'm just not used to having somebody there on Thursdays.
Well, I figured, you know what?
It still works.
You son of a bitch. If he's not going to show up here anymore, then I'm going to steal his freaking seat.
All right. Nobody's here to fight you for it. You want to steal my seat?
No, I don't
No,
want that seat.
You don't want this?
I don't want all them goddamn controls
You
and
don't want this
buttons.
paradise?
Jesus, look at that. Have you ever showed that friggin' thing on the
No,
camera?
This is
That board?
This is
You ought to see the buttons and crap that he's got in front of him. No way.
This is no way.
I don't
I'm
want
not
no part
showing
of that.
Stuff. You kidding me?
Let's show my stuff.
You show this?
Yeah, that's
you
a
show
big
this?
secret over
This is this is like mission control. I can't. When we reach DEFCON 5 or 1, whichever's
What?
higher, I don't know. It's from a movie.
Speak
I don't want to
English.
give all this stuff away. This is high tech stuff.
Didn't say you had to give it away.
Somebody
Nobody wants it.
Somebody. Well, right now there are 8 people watching at home that think that they
8 people. We got 8 listeners.
Looks like
Jesus
I don't know.
Christ.
I don't know if that's true.
Good Lord.
Those numbers that come up on there aren't accurate.
Are they
I
a
have no idea.
little misleading sometimes?
They're often way low.
I hope so.
Yeah, way low.
Jeez.
You follow
I
the
think
vintage?
Sunshine's supposed to be listening tonight.
Yeah.
I
Hi, Sonny.
think.
You follow the vintage Fonda modified page at all on Facebook?
Vintage?
There's like this vintage Fonda page, and then there's 1980 dirt modifieds.
Hmm.
You follow either of those pages?
No, I mean I've probably seen it, but
I would have talked to you about it had I seen you sometime in the last 3 months, but Mike and I talk about it frequently.
what about it? Why do you bring it up?
Well, we want to have that guy on sometime, but since you
What guy?
are
What's
aware
his name?
We've had some conversations with him on Facebook. I'm remiss to pull his name out of my mind at this point.
Oh.
But they put up all sorts of old pictures from
And they're all-
the 60s, 70s, 80s.
All from Fonda.
90s. Well, on the
Or-
Fonda page, yeah, but on the dirt modified, and then there's also just basically modifieds from all over.
Okay,
From
I got you.
from Florida to New York, and drivers and pictures. It's outstanding.
I'm sure I've probably stumbled across it here or there, but am I familiar with it?
No,
Thoroughly no.
I'm assuming not, because if it's not USAC, it doesn't count.
Yeah, speaking of USAC, how about this? Did you see that?
No.
I have
What did you see? On
I've
the
been
pay-per-view that no one
very
else knew about?
outspoken for the last several years that I would, me and a lot of people in the Northeast want to see USAC come to the Northeast more often, and we're finally getting a 3-race swing, and with the USAC National Midgets in combination with ARDC coming through PA in August. How about that, huh?
Oh, you're gonna have to repeat all that because I was doing the phone
Yeah,
call.
I know you weren't even listening. He was calling our next guest. He was not listening.
But are you gonna make that whole
USAC
swing?
National Midgets
I
in
think
combination
that's
with
great.
ARDC 3-race swing through Pennsylvania in August.
I mean, how excited
And
are
I
you
am
for that?
yes, I am going
So, how?
because it actually falls perfect. The Big Black Series is off
So
during that stretch, so there's nothing going on.
So now, now that we have that established, several months ahead of time,
Yes.
that we expect to have at least one of those people, at least one of those drivers, on the show either the week before or the week after that. And you go ahead and you set that up.
I will do that.
I think you can handle that, and maybe by then you will be able
Although I may not be able to be here the week before because that's probably Lebanon Valley. That race is always on a Thursday in August.
So book it for after.
So I'll have to see. I'll have to look at schedules, but
So book it for after.
we'll figure something out.
Figure something out.
Yes.
And maybe by then you'll make a return appearance again.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
So who you got on the line?
We have Dan Douvil, former SCONE National Champion Sprint Cars in New England. And he's got a ton of stuff coming up for 2015. And just wanted to first welcome to the 31st lap. Dan, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it.
You bet.
Do you know what else Dan has done?
Well, I know that he is an outstanding kickball player from Williams Grove.
Do you know what else he's done?
Do tell.
He has raced at the Chili Bowl. he has. Ask him.
Yeah, absolutely. I ran it in 05 and 06.
Yes,
we
he did.
Rented a car out of California and had a great time. As a matter of fact, I just got back this morning. I got a little bit of the Chili Bowl flu in me.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people
Oh,
did.
boy. That's terrible.
But, it's well worth it. If you guys ever get the opportunity to go down to Tulsa for a week, that is the best racing all year you'll ever see.
I've been telling him that for years.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
The
It
size
is-
of the building,
it is
the sheer size of
unbelievable.
the building is what blows my mind. The building itself covers 11 acres.
5 football fields.
It's amazing. The size of that is just, it's mind-blowing.
It's insane to think that they got the actual, it's a tight quarter-mile track, but it's a dirt track. It's a real dirt track. And then they got all the pits and a trade show. And 323 cars this year? Was it?
Yeah.
Good God.
Yep. With the haulers.
Well, yeah, they put
Yeah.
most of the trailers
Most
in
of
there.
them,
And
yeah.
a lot of the big teams, they carry 4 or 5 cars.
Right,
They got,
right.
they got the big stacker trailers. But a lot of them
Yep.
are just, like normal guys, 28-footers. And they bring 2 cars apiece, and then they just stack them all in.
It is. It's insane. There's nothing like it.
If they get cold weather during the Chili Bowl,
Oh, they do.
which,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it would make logical sense that they do. I mean, the position of the country, the time of year, I would see where cold weather could be a factor. Does the ventilation system get pressurized because the cold air is more dense than the hot air that's trying to get out through the ventilation system?
Yeah, when it gets cold and they can't open the doors or open up the fans, it
Yeah.
does get a little bit of smoky in there.
Does
It's
it?
a whole lot better than what it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
15 years ago, there was
Yes,
no
it is.
ventilation, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Bunch
the
of barn
first time
fans
they
indoors.
ran it, They had people carted out of there in ambulances, but
Yikes.
it's
Yeah.
gotten a lot better since.
Yeah, I know when I made my first truck out there in 2004, I went from 2004 through 2011, and just in that 8-year span, and they made a big difference.
That's awesome.
Big difference.
I mean, we've been to a couple indoor shows where, the cold air on the outside just gets into the vents and just hangs there, and it blocks all the ventilation from working.
Yeah.
But you're right. As soon as you make the cross draft by opening up a couple doors, it changes the game completely.
They have literally invested in millions of dollars in a ventilation system there for this race.
That's
Just for that
amazing.
event.
I
For that and the Tulsa shootout.
That's crazy.
It is. It's
So
crazy.
that Tulsa shootout with all the micros and stuff, they got a lot of the smokers there. I call them smokers. The little cars that always seem to have a lot of white smoke, and
Yep.
fills up the place fast. But they've come a long way. It's quite an event. It's the whole week, and it's a big party.
There ain't nothing like it.
Nope, not at all.
So how do you come about? How does the rental program work out?
Yeah, because you rented a car those 2 years you went out there, right?
Yep, my uncle, Don, who used to run NEMA years ago, knew a guy out of California, and we just hooked up. But you can find him on the internet all the time
Yeah.
to rent a ride. And
The going rate is right around 10 grand, 8 to 10 grand generally.
yeah,
if you
I
wanna-
mean,
if you want a
find cheap
solid-
one for 5 or 6.
Yeah, yeah.
But plus the crash deposit.
Right.
And it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but
Right.
you don't have to deal with getting it there. You don't have to deal with spares. You don't have to deal with fuel, tires, all that stuff. You
Yep.
just show up and drive.
Yep.
So I understand you're taking on some more responsibilities coming up in 2015.
Yeah, we're going to head to. The SCONE has done a lot of things this year. Our past president, Mike Conrad, has stepped down, and myself and basically Will Hull is the president, and myself, Chris Donnelly, and Clay Dow have stepped up to be board members. And
Nice.
we're making a few changes, and Will's done a lot of work. He's got to give him a lot of credit. He's really working hard at trying to get us a little bit more exposure, and hopefully get a little bit more money coming in, and maybe have a little bit of a purse for the year end. Where now it's basically a trophy we're running for. And he's got some really good ideas, and we all have some ideas that we think could help the car owners and the drivers out in the tracks, and we're looking forward to starting fresh in May at Legion to start off with, and then we run Bear Ridge Speedway in Bradford, Vermont as well. And then we've got 2 or 3 shows booked with Devil's Bowl Speedway.
Nice.
The end of the year there, right?
Last year for a one-race deal.
Yep.
At the end of the year when it got postponed like 4 times because of the weather.
Yes.
We ended up running in November, I think. But, he's gonna give the dirt deal another shot, so we're happy to be on that card, hoping to maybe team up with ESS one time this year and then see where we go for the year after that.
That'll be a ton of fun.
Good deal.
So what are you guys looking at doing in terms of changing the landscape up there in New England with SCONE and some of the things that you guys are looking to implement now that the board has sort of had a bit of a facelift?
Sure. We're trying to make it a little bit more fan-friendly. We've had single-file restarts since the beginning, mainly because, it's tight. We run really small tracks, a lot like the RPM track, the quarter miles, the Cornwalls, that type of stuff, but even smaller.
Sure.
And with the experience level that we had when we first started the group 5-6 years ago, it was kind of sketchy on double file restarts. But now everybody's really come along pretty well, and we feel comfortable that we're going to be able to have double file restarts. We're actually going to go to a Delaware restart, which will have the leaders out front.
Sure.
The leader will start on the front row, and then the second row will be the second and third place cars.
Right.
And then we'll go, and we'll do it the same like the Outlaws do, where if you get a wreck on the first lap of a restart, then we'll go to single file. But we felt that the fans really wanted it, and a couple of the car owners wanted it, and not really too many people were against it. So we figured we'd give it a shot, see how it goes. It's one of them deals. We'll try it the first 4 or 5 weeks, and as long as we're not tearing up equipment, we'll stick with it.
On those tight tracks, are you still putting full 24-car fields out there?
Our full field right now is about 18 cars.
18.
We don't like to start too many more than that. We've only got one track, Bear Ridge Speedway.
Right.
It has scoring, so we only have one that uses the timing, the normal timing with the loop underneath.
Sure.
With the transponders. So at Legion Speedway and at Devil's Bowl Speedway, actually he did have. I take that back. He did have the scoring deal, but at Legion. And at Canaan, when we ran Canaan before it closed, there was no scoring. So it was tough for the scorers to keep up. I mean, we turn laps, as you know, 11, 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Get 18 cars out there, you got to jot down 18 numbers in 12 seconds. And then here comes the leaders again. It gets kind of hectic for the scorers. So we decided to limit it to 18. Bear Ridge has run up to 20, I think, because of the scoring. But that's a full field for us. We've gotten... Last year, our average car count was like 17, 18. The year before, we actually had a few more. We were up closer to 20. One show, we actually had 25 show up, so we were pretty happy with that. And we're hoping to build that back up again. We know of 2 or 3 more cars that are coming on board, so we're excited about the rookie crop that we're going to have. And last year's rookie crop did really well. For the 89, Luke Greenwood, he did really well. He finished, I think, 4th or 5th in points. And he ran good. So we've got some good young drivers coming up with Lance Williams and Troy Como and a couple of these other fellas, Spencer Allen. So we're excited. We have a good field of cars, a good group to run with. We're not running for $1 million, so we try to give each other as much room as possible and not tear up the equipment. When we run the slick tracks like we run, all the big power in the world really doesn't help on the feature time. But, of course, you can never have too much power. But excited about the season. We think we're going to be able to put a good show on for the fans. We're talking about a tire roll, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. We'd like to at least limit the amount of tires or the type of tires that guys like myself and Chris and Clay can get as when the low buck guys are having a hard time bolting on a new one, once every 3 or 4 weeks. So we got to try to look at that just to keep the car owner, keep the prices down. But Mike's done a heck of a job. Mike Conrad did a heck of a job with the club, and we're very excited about teaming up with ESS in the future to coordinate our schedule so that we can do a little bit of travel. And I'm excited myself. And personally, I'm going to go to Canada on a couple trips. We're going to hit Granby and RPM and I think Drummondville, depending on what the schedule looks like from ESS, and maybe out to Utica Rome one night or Malta. But that if we can do it and keep our schedule down, we only run about 15 times a year. We only have the 2 tracks, basically run 6 times or 5 or 6 times that, and then Devil's Bowl another 3. So we contacted Malta, but we contacted them a little bit too late. So we're hoping to get something scheduled with them the following year. But we're trying to take it slow so we don't expand too quickly. We want to make sure that the car count's going to be there, and so that the guys can afford to run.
You were talking about building your car count back up into the 20 range. Where are your cars coming from at this point? I mean, it sounds like you got a pretty solid base with what you've got right now, but where are your rookies coming from? Is it second-generation drivers that already have that, or are they crossing over from other forms of motorsport in the New England area?
Well, believe it or not, a couple of the guys are coming up through the mini sprint ranks. There's a great mini sprint group here in New England. Granite State Mini Sprints. They're out of New Hampshire, and Dean Hansen did a fantastic job with that group the past 3 or 4 years, and they've built up their numbers to where they've got 15, 16, 16, 17 cars a night, and it's a natural progression from them.
Perfect.
The wing on their head to go from the 600s right into the 360s, and we actually got 3 of those right now running with us, and they do a great job. They're really smooth, they're respectful, they run very clean, and that seems to be where it's coming from. And we have guys who are coming right out of the 4-cylinder classes too. I mean, they realize that once you get over the initial cost of buying a sprint car and having a decent motor, that it doesn't cost that much to run these cars. It really doesn't. And when you go and put the same amount of money on a weekly basis into a 4-cylinder or into a late model, heat up every week, and you got to put fenders on it every week, and the sprint car guys are just running green to checker 30 laps in 6 minutes. They're like, that looked like too bad of a deal. So we've got a lot of those guys thinking about it too, and they're coming from all over New England. We've got guys coming from Massachusetts and Maine, out of Connecticut. So it's a nice group of kids, or guys for that matter.
That's awesome.
Have you had any crossover from the guys that run the DMA midgets?
Not that I can think of.
No.
Adam Pearson ran the DMA deal.
Yeah, I know. He went to the Chili Bowl.
Actually, yeah, he ran the Chili Bowl. He did a good job out there, by
the way. He did very well.
Yep, I was very happy to see him do that, and we talked to him, and he was pretty proud.
Was that his first time in a...
When did this finish, but...
Was that his first time in a full-blown midget, do you know?
Racing, yes.
I know the DMA guys are they run the Chevy Ecotec or the Ford Focus engines, so...
Right, exactly, and it's not as much power, but it's the same car, so he was somewhat comfortable, but he's never been on a track with that much caliber before, caliber drivers. So I thought he did a fantastic job. But he's run sprint car with us a couple times. He's done well. Kevin Chafee, he's run a midget. He was actually the USAC champion 2 or 3 years ago at Bear Ridge. He runs with us every week. And I think there's one more or 2 more guys who are thinking about doing it. One guy I know told me in confidence that he's looking at trying to find a sprinter, but I haven't heard whether or not he's accomplished that yet. But it's that group is really flourishing at Bear Ridge. I mean, that they put on a good show.
Yep.
And they've got the car count up now. But unfortunately they don't pay anything. But they don't have to pay anything to get in either. You know what I mean? They get free crew guys and free fuel, and I think they found a tire deal that's pretty cheap too. So it's very inexpensive, and it's good racing. I mean, they're side by side. They pick a lane, and it's fun to watch. I know I'm staying at the fence watching.
I know they came to Fonda last summer for the first time, and I think that at that time it was like the biggest track they'd ever run on, because Fonda, for those guys they're so used to running on bull rings. That place was huge to them.
Well, in Indianapolis for them guys. It's huge. Fonda's fast too.
It is.
You run a big block on the outside there through 3 and into 4, and you're staring right at the fence. It can be hairy, but it's fast.
Yep, that it is.
You going to try and get back into the Chili Bowl at some point?
Yeah, the next time I do that, I'll have my own car. I had a deal to buy a car last year, and I just couldn't come up with the money,
right?
Because I run into a couple issues with the Sprinter. But yes, the next car I buy is going to be a midget. We're going to run that. And that'll be the only midget show we'll run is down there. And see, I'm a bigger guy. I'm not your typical jockey. Fairly large, so it's tough for me to slide into a rental car when all day just basically getting myself acclimated into the car so that I'm comfortable.
Yep.
And so I want to be able to do it on my own terms. You know what I mean? Get the seat right and get everything right, and then have car ready before I get there. As opposed, because once you step on a track at Chili Bowl, you better be going.
Yes.
If you're not on the hammer,
that's right.
You're going to be lost. So
Yep.
it was tough for me those couple of years, only because at the time they didn't ever have Monday out there when I ran.
No, they didn't have the practice when they.
They didn't
until the last
you had your
6
3
or
laps
7,
worth of practice on your
maybe 8 years now.
off you went. So
Yeah.
it was a learning curve for me that was really steep. But I really want to run a midget out there. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and beat the Clausens and the Larsons and Rico, So, but I just, to go out there and run a C main or a B main or have a chance to run decent would be certainly exciting.
Yep. Just to be a part of it. I've never raced in my life, and I tell you, that's one day I would love to just see I did it once. Just race at the Chili Bowl would be awesome.
Yep, absolutely. It's a bucket list deal,
Yep, sure is.
Yep. So how are things out west?
It's cold.
Out
At
west.
the club, huh?
I didn't. It's the first time I've ever been told that I was out west.
Well, we're definitely west to him.
Yeah, well, yeah, no doubt.
Everything's west to me.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
It's true. I mean, not gonna argue the point, but it's just weird to hear.
I know.
Don't go
Yeah.
east too many races, that's for sure.
No.
Do you have any place east that you can even go?
About Maine or New Hampshire,
I mean,
but
that's got to be about it, right?
Yeah, there is no dirt track official dirt track in Maine. There's a Barnyard Speedway out there or something. They run in a field, but it's there's no official dirt track, and we don't run asphalt anymore. We
Right.
tried that for a couple of years, and it's too damn boring. So
So I'm thinking that the sprint cars in New England won't be going to the Barnyard Speedway in Maine.
I don't think
Is that a
so,
safe
no.
assumption?
Barnyard. And it doesn't sound like they'll be racing on a pavement at Devil's Bowl either.
We've had inquiries from the New Hampshire tracks. I mean, of course, there's a ton of asphalt tracks out here, which
Yeah.
are in Lee and
Yep.
out in New Hampshire, and then you go to Maine, you got 3 or 4 tracks out there. So we
Yep.
actually had, as a club, we had 3 tracks call us and asked if we'd run on asphalt. And Mike, at the time when we had our president there last year, 2 years ago,
Yep.
he took a show of hands of how many would run on the asphalt, and just Butch Valley raised his hand. Of course, Butch he builds the super modifieds out here down there and all that, So he was like he was all for it.
Yeah, of course.
I was putting their hand up because they're just these dirt cars, they're just not meant to run those speeds. Especially with the wing on, you can really get hauling. And
Yeah.
on asphalt, you don't roll on asphalt, you hit.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. I know if you watch the Extreme Series there out in the Midwest, you're like in Ohio and Michigan and stuff, every once in a while you catch them on TV, and they're 410 wing sprint cars on pavement, and it's crazy speeds they're running.
But you're not comparing apples to apples completely with that. Those are. They got a little bit more of a setup for asphalt.
Well, yeah, because they do it all the time.
Because they're doing it all the time.
But still, I mean, if these guys did it all the time, they're going to develop that eventually.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. It's just like the dirt modifieds do it now at
Yeah.
Devil's Bowl and
Yeah.
Malta. I mean, up there in Plattsburgh, they've got specialty cars now too. I mean, that's what killed it when the dirt series went back
Exactly.
in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
They had guys who were just building asphalt
Yeah,
cars.
McCready and Doug Hoffman, they all had special cars just for the pavement. So then the other guys were just getting their asses handed to them because of that.
Right, exactly.
And it really
became
did kill the series because the fans, it became another version of the Wheel and Modify Tour. It wasn't fun anymore.
Yep, exactly. As a matter of fact, I believe, you might be able to fix my memory here, but I think at Bristol they had a speed test out
Yes,
there
they
at Bristol
did.
on the concrete,
That's right.
And I believe the Wayne sprint car
Yes,
beat the super modified
he did.
speed.
I remember they showed that on TV.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
freakishly fast.
Was it Chad Blonde? I'm trying to remember who the hell set the record.
We
down.
talked about it on the show.
Yeah,
Now I can't
yeah.
remember it.
I remember watching the show too because
Yeah.
it was on Speed because it was Speed then. It wasn't. It hadn't been switched over to Fox yet.
Right. Well, that just goes to prove how limited that they've got the Ismator now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They rein back the big block. You can only run so much left side. There's a lot of rules they got now. Where the sprint car, you wouldn't think that without all that left side that the sprint car would be
Right.
competitive, but it's faster. It's insane.
Yep. It is.
But we declined that asphalt deal. They even talked about putting it on 9-inch tires, and but Just had enough of that. We'll stick to the dirt with
Well,
like slide jobs and the cushion.
It gets too, even if the guys want to do it, it's going to be so expensive to do like just a couple times a year
I gotta
with all
believe,
the switchover and
well, I gotta
crossover.
believe you're looking at a completely different shock package.
Yeah.
You're looking at a different set of tires.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go through those tires in one night.
It's going to be
at
expensive.
least. It's gonna be a pricey.
Yeah.
And you could go the way that some of these dirt cars have gone, where they're going to run the dirt approved tire compound on the asphalt. You're still going to blow through those tires in a hurry because now you're running this softer compound that's not designed for asphalt. It's
Yep.
going to peel them to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to buy a wider front axle because you want to
Yeah.
make sure that the right front's sticking out there. You're going to have different offset wheels, and then you move everything to the left as far as you can. So you're going to rearrange everything. It's just it just doesn't make much sense. I mean, one time, if the guys we ran one time at Canaan, they had both tracks. They had the dirt track and the asphalt.
Yep.
On a modified show on the same day, we had an asphalt race and a dirt race, and that was pretty cool. You got an hour to change over your car.
Sure.
So you couldn't come in with an asphalt car and kick everybody, or you could if you wanted, but you're not going to make the money, because
Yep.
you paid between the two. So that
Did
was
you have to
Yes.
run?
So to do it as a one-off is
hang
all
on.
right.
In what you just described, did you have to run the same car?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You had to run the same car. You had an
And
hour
that
to switch
and
over.
that is cool. You get a time
that's
limit
cool.
to switch over, and you got to run.
You got an hour, and you have to run the same car.
because everybody's
cool.
in the same boat then.
Right.
Exactly. You can't have anything specialized. You know, you're not going to go out and try to put a different axle in it, or change everything up. You're just going to basically put your dirt. You can either run asphalt tires, you put dirt tires right on the asphalt, and go for it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
No, that was cool.
Because, like you said, you're not specializing, and that gets
You
expensive
can run
when
the
you do
asphalt
that.
during the day, so the sun doesn't beat the heck out of the track. They all run during the day. It doesn't matter,
Right.
One lane anyway. It's all asphalt. Go back to dirt.
That's right. Absolutely.
Hey, you're good to go.
Speaking of dirt, you mentioned banging off the cushion. Did you see the curb all week at the Chili Bowl? I don't know that I've ever seen the curb there get so high.
I went down.
It was
and
crazy.
actually took a picture of the curb, and it was. I have one of those seat cushions. The just seat cushions.
Yep.
And I stood it up on end, which is about 13 to 14 inches tall. It
Right.
was above that.
It was insane all week.
Unbelievable.
It was.
The picture I didn't take it. I saw a picture on the internet that TJ guy.
TJ Slideways or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
great. And
Yep.
he took a picture of Larson after he slid somebody, and it was just his right rear was sticking on the ground. The rest of the car you could see underneath the car. Unbelievable.
Oh.
Those boys are insane. And that race was going to really get good. It was really going to get good before the yellow happened that Pittman ran into Rico and turned himself around.
Yes.
Without him in Boston.
I know they had just hit traffic. Pittman had just got to him.
Yep.
And then the wreck happened and brought out the yellow. I know.
And at the time, the only way to pass a lap car was to slide them. So there was going to be Slide Job City in a heartbeat.
Yes, it was. In traffic.
February. Oh, yeah, with traffic. It was going to be insane.
So they would have broke that flip record.
It was really shaping up to be something. That race was totally backwards, wasn't it? All of a sudden, Larson spun out, and Bell spun out because Bell was coming. He started deep. And
watching the whole, after obviously last year with Brian Clausen winning, and as fast as Brian was during the week, he was super fast on Tuesday in the Viroc race.
Yep.
And then he won his qualifying night on Friday. With him being on the front row, I thought for sure he's going to take off and he's just going to kill him.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the second half, Rico started reeling him in. It's like, holy crap. And then, he fell to second, and then Clausen fell to third. I'm like, this is really getting good. Because I was really afraid. I like Clausen, but I didn't want to see him run away and make a stinker out of it.
Right, exactly.
And he wasn't. I couldn't believe that those guys caught him and ran him down.
Yeah, I tell you, the drive, besides Bell coming, Bulldog had a heck of a drive.
Yes, he did.
The Swindell boy. I mean, he was.
Yep.
I kept an eye on him because I knew he was going to be good.
Yeah, of course.
And he was passing people clean, not like his old man. I mean, he was passing people clean, and he was on a march. And I really thought he actually got to within 2 or 3 car lengths of Rico.
He did right at the very end.
Yeah, and he went into one and he missed it, and he jumped the cushion a little bit, and Rico drove away from him. But I really thought if he got even close to him down at 3, boy, the sparks are going to be flying.
Yep.
It was going to get awesome. We really enjoy it.
All I know is that the wife and I are not going to miss 2016. We've missed the last 5 years. I am not missing next year. We are going no matter what. I don't care.
Yeah, it's the Chili Bowl of bust,
That's right. Absolutely.
I get 8 or 9 guys that come. We rent a house down there, It's like a mile away. It's fantastic.
Nice. That's awesome.
We drove down this year. We drove actually the last 2 years. We drove down.
Yep.
It's 27 hours from New Hampshire.
Wow, that's a haul. That is a haul.
So it's a long haul, but it's worth every penny.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Wow.
No question.
Dedication. That's a long drive.
That is a week for any motorsports enthusiast that they need to live at least once.
Yep.
There's nothing like it.
We drove to Topeka and it was 20 hours, and I didn't think it was ever going to stop. You got 7 hours on top of that.
It's Tulsa time down there, you know.
That's
you
right.
Don't do nothing during the morning.
No, you don't.
You stay up all night, you know. We're up till 3, 4 in the morning. Then you finally go to sleep and you get up at noontime.
Yep.
So, you know, that's noontime there. It's 1 o'clock.
It's 1 here,
so
yeah.
We got up one morning, and I went down, had some breakfast, went on the deck, because it was like 55 degrees, you know. It was beautiful.
Yep.
And I called the wife, and the wife says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm having breakfast." This is 1:30 in the afternoon. I said, "It's 1:30 your time. I'm on Tulsa time. It's only 8 o'clock where I am."
That's right.
Wow.
But you pay for it when you come back, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Week just to catch up.
Did you make any trips to Elephant Run?
We drove by one time and didn't get a chance to stop.
No.
We should have went in, but no. We spent a lot of time at Twin Peaks.
Ah, nice.
Oh yeah, and we go down to we don't do Hooters anymore, but we go to Twin Peaks, and then we bring our own beer, because beer down there is this 3-point beer. I don't know if you guys know about that, but it's
yes, it is. It's the weak beer. It's not like ours or Canada. Like Canadians.
Right.
Canadians always pick on our beer, saying that it's not real beer. Well, that's what we do to the people in Oklahoma, because theirs is weaker than ours.
Yeah. So we bring our own beer down there. So we end up spending the night in the kitchen and just having hoot and hour and have a good time and talk about bench racing.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So did you guys go to the ESS banquet? I heard it was pretty nice.
I did not. I would have. I'm trying to remember. Mallet must have went, right? No, he didn't. No, you know what? He didn't. He was. Where the hell was he? He was gone. He was in Arizona.
Oh,
Mallet did not hit the banquet. He went to Winter Heat, because I remember Dino telling me that Dino, I think, emceed it, because normally it would be Mike, but Mike was gone to Arizona.
Right.
That's right.
That was a pretty cool deal. I'm hoping that game.
So did you go?
No, I didn't go. I watched it on the internet, but I'm hoping that it gains in popularity. I guess the second Friday and Saturday was well attended, so I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, I meant the banquet. Did you go to the banquet?
Oh no, I didn't go to the banquet.
No. Yep.
No, I was home doing something. I forget.
Yeah, I bought the Winter Heat pay-per-view too. It was all right. The racing was really good, except for the last night. The last night was kind of a stinker the way the track rubbered up, but the first 4 nights were really good.
Yeah.
Once they got after the first night, they got the bugs worked out of the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view didn't go very well the first night.
Oh, no, I wasn't very happy with that.
No, I wasn't either.
But that Wednesday or Tuesday show they had was pretty good.
Yeah. I tell you, that race to Kyle one was insane too.
Oh yeah.
What was that? The second night? Was that the third night? I can't remember now.
I don't remember either. They all ran it.
Yeah. Well, that race that he won was an insane race.
Yeah.
Bouncing off the fence, bouncing off the curb. Oh my God, it was crazy.
Yeah. Gotta love it. That's what sprint car racing's all about, you know.
That's right.
Find some open track and see if it'll stick.
Dirt track racing as a whole, that's the way it should be.
You got it. Absolutely. Yep. So what's the first race for you guys?
My first race will be Florida.
Oh yeah, you're going to?
Yeah, I'm
going.
Yeah, I'm working in Florida
with the tour.
Yeah, with the series.
Probably not going to
be
the
big block series. So.
For me, it won't be until the season opens up here.
I'm hoping with the Florida deal.
My first motorsport event is going to be in 2 weeks in Garden City, Minnesota. But John doesn't want to hear about that.
Dirt cars telling me that that they'll buy my plane ticket to Florida, but I want to drive. I'm hoping that they'll just give me the difference, whatever a plane ticket would cost, and then I'll drive down and then stop in Georgia on Sunday for that Georgia race. That's what I want to do. But we'll see. I don't make the rules. You know, if they're going to pay me to go down there, you know, you got to do what they tell you to do. So
I suppose.
We'll see. It'll either be Georgia on February 15th or Volusia on the 17th or 18th or whatever the date is. That'll be my first.
That'll be good.
Yep.
We'll be putting the car together.
Nice. Yeah, you guys start late down there.
Yeah, we don't start till May 7th. So I guess ESS might be opening up like April 24th, 25th, something like that.
Yeah.
That's their plan, yep.
way out to Can-Am. I ran that one time. Boy, it took me 9 hours just to get there.
That is a haul. Yes.
It's a long way.
It is a haul there.
And that
It's in the middle of nowhere, too.
Yeah, nothing against them, but that is a boring drive.
Yes, it is. There is nothing on 81 once you leave Syracuse. After Syracuse, there's like nothing. It's in the middle of nowhere. Oh, good Lord.
Brutal, way up there in the Finger Lakes, right?
Yeah, big
No,
racetrack, big
no,
and fast.
No.
No, it's not the Finger Lakes. No.
Can-Am's not the Finger Lakes. That's it's Thousand Islands.
Thousand Islands, yeah. Well, yeah, just before Thousand Islands.
Before it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're down. Actually, we're in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, we're sitting in the Finger Lakes right now as we speak.
You are. Where are you?
We're in Waterloo.
Yeah, Waterloo and Seneca Falls.
Yep. Yep. Excellent. Yeah, that's a haul.
Yep.
Yeah, come on down to the show anytime you want.
Yeah, I'll be there in an hour.
We actually on another one of the shows on Finger Lakes 1, we've got 3 people from Canada that are coming out next Monday. They're
Nice.
driving out. They're going to drive 3 hours to be on the show live. They're going to come out
Here?
and hang out for the show. They're going to be here in Seneca Falls.
Our show?
Not our show.
Oh,
no.
you're talking about the Derby
on the
show.
crash course, the Monday
Okay,
show.
I got you.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Those Canadians, they love their racing, man.
Yes, they do.
Those guys are out of their mind.
They like their booze too.
Oh yeah, they don't mind. That's the only other place that you can go in the pit area and buy a beer.
Yes,
actually.
yes, that's true. Besides the Chili Bowl, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, 'cause they treat their people like adults. You know, they realize that all right, you want to drink, you'll have to face the consequences.
That's right. As long as you're responsible with it. It is crazy to think though that the driver's got like a 3-drink minimum or maximum. That's so crazy.
There is signs posted. I think it was Cornwall. There's a sign
Yeah.
posted right as you go onto the track. Drivers 2-drink maximum or 3-drink maximum, something like that. There's a sign
crazy.
posted.
I love Cornwall, man. What a neat place, huh? They dug that place into the cornfield, you know.
Yep.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Nice little bull ring.
Tacky too, you know.
Yeah.
Fun track.
The only bummer part about that is when it gets rained out, getting the haulers out of there. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah,
They've improved it in the past couple of years, but back when we ran it in the early 2000s, it was brutal.
I think they have a snowmobile race this weekend. I think I saw that advertised.
Yeah, I think on their Facebook or on their Twitter,
Yeah.
where they were watering the track.
Yes.
All iced up.
I saw those pictures last week. They kept watering it like every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must be a fast place in a sled, huh?
Oh
gotta be
God, it's
scary
gotta be
fast.
crazy.
Scary fast.
That'd be neat to watch, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, they should do. Do they have sidecars like the guy they do on the?
Oh,
They
good
do that
God.
down in Australia,
I
right?
know, don't you, isn't that awesome?
I thought, where did I see that on MAV TV? I think right.
Yeah, those
They
guys
were
are
they were-
crazy. That guy who's not driving, he's just basically hanging
It
on
was-
the thing.
it
you
was
know?
motorcycles,
They're doing like
right?
a $140. I'm like, you guys are insane.
Was it motorcycles that I saw? Was that the same thing you watched? It was motorcycles, right?
Motorcycles with a sidecar.
Yeah, at the same dirt track that they run the midgets at in the sprint cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what the hell track is it?
That is
Not
Western
Vel.
Springs?
Yes, Western Springs. Yep.
Yeah, they're insane.
Because they got that TV show on MAP TV. It's
There we go.
on every week, Chris, and they show sprint cars or midgets. Well, one night they showed little highlights. They had these motorcycles and they ran backwards.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
they ran the other way around, and they had a sidecar. There was a dude riding in a sidecar. It was crazy.
They're nuts. That MAV TV, that's a good deal, you know.
Oh, I love that channel.
I got rid of my cable provider just so I could get Dish, so I could get it.
Yep.
Is
that the trick?
I've had enough. I've heard too much about it. Now I get it, and I got a whole DVR worth of.
Yes, you and me both.
ASCS, you name it, whatever. You ever watch them little, what do they call them? Those little jet boats that they got them. You know, they blocks in them, and they.
Yes,
the
they do
little
the
road
course.
Those guys are nuts too.
Yeah, they do like a little road course.
You know, I don't think the water's more than 5 feet.
Yeah, and they turn on a dime too.
Oh no!
They do like hairpins.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
they come
it
to a
is.
stop in 2 feet, and they go the other way in
Yeah,
8 degrees, 2 seconds. It's insane.
yeah. God bless Forrest Lucas.
That's right.
Oh, God bless him. He dumps a bunch of money in, doesn't he? I mean,
Yes, he does.
everything, you know.
He sponsors like every sport unknown to man practically.
I know. You know, any lubricant that I get, I always buy it just because he doesn't sponsor me, but
Yep.
sponsors everybody. So I
Right.
try to get back to, and
Right.
Sure.
I get as much oil and cleaning supplies and whatever it is I use in the shop out of his deal. So
Nice.
It's fun to watch. I appreciate him putting it on for sure.
Absolutely.
He re-upped with ESS too, I see.
Yes.
Oh, did he? Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep, so that's cool. We're looking forward to that.
Yep. That's good for Dino.
Yeah, Dino's a good guy.
Yep.
All those guys are cool, man. They're all neat. You know, we played kickball with them down there at the Grove for the Open.
Yep.
Place too, and we did well. You know, I mean, we're against a professional team that's down there every year.
Now,
but we had a good time.
Now, be honest with us. How's Mallet as a kickball player?
Oh, he does all right. He pitches the ball well.
Oh, he pitches. What is that?
He pitches. Oh yeah.
All sorts of.
Was he like
nice bounce ball in it.
What is he? The all?
Roll it in there
Is he the all-time pitcher?
He pitches the whole time. He did well.
No, it's funny.
He had a great time.
That's funny. I heard he was a pitcher, not a catcher.
On that note,
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else. Yeah,
It's easy to break his
meat.
It's easy to break his balls when he's not here.
yeah,
Go.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Well, we are.
Been down to Williams Grove for the Open.
I don't know.
You got to check your schedule.
Yeah,
find
I
out
gotta-
what you're-
They run the
I
same
gotta-
weekend usually as like the Fulton 200.
Oh, the National Open, not the Opener. The National Open, I won't. I know I won't be there. I always go to Fulton.
Yeah, Fulton. They usually schedule on the same weekend.
I love that modified race at Fulton, so I don't usually schedule anything against it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good race. I was out there we tried to run it. There were 140 cars to qualify, but we tried to run it back in 2002, 2003.
Yep,
Just insane. Track gets so slippery.
it does.
It's a lot of fun to run. Because,
It's crazy wide when the race finally takes this green flag. There's like cars everywhere.
oh yeah, it's insane. And they used to start like 40, 42 cars.
Yes,
It's insane.
yes, they still do.
Me and Tammy, my wife Tammy, we went when we were younger. We went out and watched. The first time we went to Fulton, we watched. It was the year that Pouchy won one of them.
Yep.
Probably the last one he won. But he won it right up on the fence. They watered
Yes.
the fence all the way around, and everybody was real slow down on the bottom. He's screaming it up there against the fence. He passed everybody.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, he won the first 5.
5.
Can you imagine winning the same 200 lap race first 5 years, or just any 5 years in a row? It's
Right.
just crazy to think of.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to win a 200 lap race, but the fact that he never had any, not even so much as a flat tire in 1,000 laps and 5 straight, in a combination of 5 years in a row, it's unheard of.
Pretty impressive.
That's
Yeah.
back when it was the Outlaw Days too. It was kind
Yes.
of the open.
Yeah, they had drag rubber and run the alcohol and
There we go.
the good old days.
Just the sprint car without the wing on it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yep.
You two guys gonna share a house when you guys go out to?
it's Tulsa.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's fun. It's funny you say that. I made my hotel reservation this afternoon for next year's Chili Bowl.
Nice.
Yeah, Embassy Suites.
You have to. There's no hotel.
You do. I know.
You know what happened this year too? They had a Garth Brooks concert. In the
Yes,
city.
they did.
Oh no.
Because originally he booked like 2 or 3 shows, but then it sold out so fast they added another show. That one sold out so fast they added another one. Ended up
Wow.
like being like 7 shows or something. And
Holy
it blended right into the week when they started to add shows. It blended into the Chili Bowl week.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of people in the restaurants in the morning when we went out that they were there for the concert, and they were like, we're staying like 2 hours away because
There's nowhere to stay.
hotels. They're already gone for the Chili Bowl. Now
Yeah, and they're probably wondering why. What the hell's going on in this city this week? It's January, for God's sake.
the city has really taken to it too. They
Yes, they
support it
have.
quite well.
Yes.
The mayor was there, and there's a bunch of people there.
Yeah, I saw the dignitaries on Saturday. They gave him a couple of awards there during the ceremonies.
Yep.
Yep.
They bring a lot of money into that.
Yes,
city.
they do.
Oh my God.
Yes, they do. That's good. It's you want to see that. If you're Emmett and Lanny, you want to see the city embrace the whole thing and not complain about it. You want to see them take it and run.
Yep.
Because it's a huge moneymaker for that city. Not only that, they know it's not just the Chili Bowl too. It's the Tulsa Shootout was 2 weeks before that. That's grown into like a 4 or 5 day event now, and how many people show up for that. You don't get quite the fans that you do with the Chili Bowl, but there's still a lot of people when you talk about 1,000 entries.
Right. Exactly.
A lot of people in that city.
Man.
So it's good that they embrace that whole month of January spectacle.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Dan, we don't want to hold you up here for the entire night. You before we let you go, you want to give any shout outs to anybody you want to thank to keep all your racing entities going?
No, if you guys have the opportunity to check out coastal181.com, it's Lou Boyd puts racing books, and he just did the Darwin book, and he's got an Evans book. He's got a bunch of books, and it's real good, and there's a lot of education on there too. Good stuff for the kids.
Nice.
Sponsors that I have, Amtech, Tank Line, there's all stuff out here, so not too many people are. But, ours is a small deal. It's basically just friends that like to help out, and they could care less if I put them on the announce them over the speaker, but just say hi.
Yep.
We got a couple of nice sponsors, but nobody's really hungry for publicity hounds, so we just go and race, we have a good time.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, when you see us come in with our open trailer, you'll know who we are.
That's excellent.
Well, sounds good.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. Appreciate what you guys do for the racing community, and keep up the good work, and maybe we'll chat with you throughout the course of the season.
We look forward to it, Dan.
All right, guys. Take care.
Wish you the best. We'll see you.
Yep, bye-bye.
There goes Dan Douvil from the
Good deal.
SCONE Sprint Cars of New England.
I don't think he realizes he follows me on Twitter. I don't think he realizes it though.
You didn't want to tell him?
Nah, I'll tweet him later.
Yeah, that's.
I think I almost think that he has a Facebook page. I'm not sure if it's his personal page or if it's a Douville Racing page. I forget, but I know we're connected through Facebook somehow too. But that's all because I'm always posting stuff or tweeting or whatever about the Chili Bowl. So a couple of years ago, he friended me or whatever because he saw that, because I know he obviously likes the Chili Bowl because I know he's competed in it before, and so I've been familiar with his name for several years just because of that, running the Chili Bowl, and he's run some modified stuff in the past too.
Mm-hmm. If you can believe it, we have already filled an hour and a half.
Nice.
And I think we pretty much covered everything that I wanted to get to. I mean,
two good guests tonight.
Yeah, excellent. I was happy with the show. Very happy.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike was listening at home. He said he had a great time. We had put in 40 minutes with Mike, with Dan.
Yep.
And covered all sorts of stuff with him. And we talked a little NASCAR at the beginning of the show. Got all sorts of local modified flavor. Talking with Matt Williamson. It was a good episode all around.
Yes.
You going to come back and do this again next week or no?
Let's see. What is next week? I'm trying to think. Maybe. I know next Friday I have.
See if you can pencil us in.
Next Friday I have the Fonda Speedway banquet.
Yeah.
I talked to Matty D today.
Nice.
For a little bit. He finally got to go take a little vacation. He went to Maine and went snowmobiling.
Cool.
he just got back when I called him.
Get away from it all.
Yeah. So it was nice to hear that he at least had some time to get away, and we saw him he was at the dirt banquet too.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, obviously being a track promoter now, he went out there for the meetings and
sure
and all that. So he was at the banquet that Saturday night. So we got to hang out with him for that that evening, and so I've seen him a couple times since the racing season ended. Of course, he went to Charlotte too, so I got to hang with him out there for a little bit too. So.
Excellent.
Other than that, though, I really haven't seen too many people. I will be at the show this weekend, the area auto show.
Yeah.
I got to work it on Saturday at the dirt car booth. So the missus and I are going to be leaving bright and early Saturday morning, making our trek down there to hang out at the dirt car booth. So if anybody that's listening is going to the area auto show, the motorsports show at the what is it? It's in Oaks, PA, whatever the expo center name is. I forget what they call that place now, but
I don't remember.
I don't either. I looked the other day because I hadn't been to that show in several years. But everybody's out there, come by the dirt car booth and say, hey, I'll be handing out schedules and doing God knows what.
Excellent.
Trying to answer questions the best I can, although I have a feeling some of the questions I'm going to get asked, I'm not going to have any answers for.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, well,
That's what your job is, though, buddy.
It is what it is.
You go stand out there and get punched.
Come to our first non-points race at Volusia. And if you can't make it to Volusia, come to our first point show of the year, Super Dirt Car Series, Fulton Speedway.
Nice.
Beginning of April.
And I think that'll officially be the fork in this one. Have we covered everything now?
I think. I don't know. I guess.
Well,
See, for me, I've missed so much. I don't know what you guys have covered the last few months.
wouldn't hurt to tune in once in a while.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yep. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching. That's going to do it for this edition of the 31st Lap. We'll see you next time.